The message arrived at 2:14 a.m. I wasn't meant to see it. My wife's phone lit up on the kitchen counter while she showered. Steam curled down the hallway. I wasn't snooping. I was thirsty. But then I saw his name. My brother. And the preview. He can't even walk properly. You have nothing to worry about. My thumb hovered over the screen. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. Because 2 hours earlier, I had been watching the casino security feed in my office. One of my quieter investments. Cameras everywhere, silent, unblinking. And there she was. Red dress. The one she said she bought for my birthday. Laughing. Leaning across the roulette table. Toward him. My older brother. The one who dragged his right leg since childhood. The one she used to pity. I watched him place his hand on her lower back. Not accidental. Not brotherly. Intimate. Familiar. Practiced. The dealer spun the wheel. She leaned closer. And I realized something strange. She didn't look like a woman committing a mistake. She looked like a woman who had already decided. The shower turned off. I put the phone back exactly where it was. And for the first time in 15 years of marriage, I understood how betrayal feels before it's spoken aloud. It's quiet. And surgical. The casino visits weren't random. Every night, 11:47 p.m. She would say she was meeting friends. I never asked questions. I had built my life on observation, not reaction. I watched. Camera angles, private rooms, parking lot entrances. My brother arrived separately, always 5 minutes before her. They didn't kiss. That would have been easier. No, they moved like conspirators. Inside jokes, subtle touches, eyes that lingered half a second too long. And then one night, the cameras caught something else. They weren't gambling. They were in the VIP office. My office. The one only executives had access to. I replayed the footage 3 times. She opened my safe. She knew the code. Of course she did. Marriage is trust disguised as convenience. Inside that safe were documents, offshore accounts, property transfers, investment structures even my board didn't fully understand. She took photos, sent them. To him. The message logs later confirmed it. He wasn't just sleeping with my wife. He was helping her dismantle me. And the worst part? Her text. He can't even walk properly. You have nothing to worry about. She thought my disability made me harmless. Predictable. Dependent. She forgot something. A man who survives humiliation as a child learns to think differently. I didn't confront her. I poured her wine the next evening. I kissed her forehead. I asked about her friends. She smiled and lied effortlessly. That was the moment something inside me stopped bleeding and started calculating. 3 weeks later, I began my audit. Quietly, I transferred ownership of the casino to a shell corporation, moved assets, rewrote wills, shifted property into international trusts. My lawyer thought I was paranoid. I didn't correct him. I installed new cameras, encrypted access logs, tracked every email forwarded from her device. My brother grew bolder. He convinced her I was planning to cut her out. Irony has a scent. It smells like overconfidence. Then came the final piece. A document drafted in secret. A petition to have me declared mentally unfit. Signed by my wife. Co-signed by my brother. They were building a case. Financial instability. Emotional volatility. Obsessive behavior. They wanted control of everything. I sat alone in my office that night watching the two of them in the casino lounge. He leaned close and whispered something. She laughed. I read her lips. Soon. I smiled. Not because it didn't hurt. It did. But pain is only dangerous when it controls you. I had already decided if they wanted my empire, they would inherit its ashes. Within months, my holdings were legally untouchable. Then I disappeared. Publicly. A staged accident. A car over a cliff. Closed casket. Insurance paid. Assets frozen under litigation. She cried at the funeral. Convincingly. My brother held her hand and believed he had won. 3 years later, I stood at the gates of my villa in Switzerland. New passport, new face. Surgery is remarkable when you have the right surgeons and no conscience about money. The villa wasn't just luxurious, it was visible. Intentionally, glass walls, alpine backdrop. Social media doesn't forget beauty. My daughter-in-law saw it first. She called. If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes. I almost admired her audacity. Enjoy, I replied. I sent photos. Panoramic views, wine cellar, Private helipad. Within minutes, my phone rang. Once, twice, 71 times. My wife, my brother. Panic sounds different through a phone. It trembles. I answered on the 72nd call. Silence. Then her voice. You're alive? Yes. A pause. How? You underestimated the man who can't walk properly. She started crying. He started shouting in the background. The assets they thought they controlled? Illusion. The will they relied on? Voided the day before my death. The casino? Sold. The accounts? Empty. I had left them exactly what they deserved. Dead. I invited them to Switzerland. Curiosity is stronger than shame. They came. I watched them step into my villa, nervous, diminished. My brother looked smaller without arrogance. She looked older. Fear accelerates aging. We sat across from each other. No anger in my voice. No raised tone. You tried to declare me unfit. She shook her head. Denial is reflex. I slid the petition copy across the table. Her signature stared back at her. He attempted justification. I thought you were unstable. I was, I replied. After watching you touch my wife. Silence. I didn't insult her. Didn't shout. I simply outlined the reality. They had spent 3 years fighting lawsuits tied to frozen assets. 3 years believing release was imminent. There was no release. The money was gone. Reinvested. Multiplied. Beyond their reach. I don't want revenge, I said calmly. I wanted clarity. I stood. You confused my silence for weakness. And then I walked away. Slowly. Deliberately. Without looking back. They left the villa that evening. Smaller than when they arrived. I watched from the balcony as the car disappeared down the mountain road. I felt nothing. Not triumph. Not sorrow. Only equilibrium. They had tried to erase me. Instead, they erased themselves. Sometimes people think revenge is destruction. It isn't. It's distance. It's letting them live with the knowledge that they miscalculated. That the man they mocked rebuilt himself beyond their imagination. My brother still limps. My wife still lies. But neither of them will ever again mistake my quiet for fragility. I didn't crush them with rage. I crushed them with patience. And when the phone finally stopped ringing, I poured myself a drink and enjoyed the silence.